Welcome into NBA Now live here on Chat Sports. Harrison Graham with you, producer Jack with us as well. We are live here on YouTube. We're also live over on Rumble. Go check us out over there, rumble.com/NBA Now for more NBA coverage. We'll let the audience build up a bit here, so shout out your city, shout out your country. If you're international, you can shout out your country. If you're in the United States, shout out your city. You can even throw your state in there if you want. Let's get the live chat going here, and I will get some shout-outs going in the live chat. Appreciate everybody for hanging out with us here on a Monday afternoon. We got Marquise and Gardena. Good day to be a Lakers fan from SM. Hey, there you go. L2 Cloud says, hey, Harrison, what's up, L2? Rock Hill, South Carolina from John Kruger. Continue to get your cities, countries in the comments. What it do, Harrison? Just smash that like button. Appreciate that, Clayton. Hit that thumbs up icon if you haven't. Chua's in Hamilton City. We got Chris in Anderson, Indiana. Brandon asks how I'm doing today. I'm doing good, Brandon. I am doing good. Matthew's in Denver. We got Marquise saying he's a diehard Warriors fan, so you got that going. I'm good, Brandon, really good. Clarksburg, Tennessee from Ethan. Got Rashard Lee here in Dallas representing. What's up? Wade up in Montana. John Collins to the Texans to the Celtics, excuse me, Shock Universe. There you go, Willie Betts. John Collins to the Celtics. You heard it in the comments here. Jackson, Mississippi from Clayton. We got Jovan in Milwaukee. HTBS in Dallas. Let's see here. Frederick in Charlotte. Major Nets fan from Jacob. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Could be rough times in Brooklyn. We'll see. We'll outline the latest on KD and Kyrie coming up here in just a few moments. Speaking of, should Kevin Durant demand a trade? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Should he demand a trade? This is the live poll question as well. If you want to vote right there, it's pinned in the chat. 81% say yes, 19% say no. I started saying this 2 weeks ago that I feel like this could happen, and it's catching more and more wind these days as it appears Kyrie Irving is going to be elsewhere, at least at this point in time it seems that way. Y for yes and for no. SM says yes. Brandon says no. Jovan says yes. What's the news for Kai? We'll have a little Kai Soto update later on in the show. If you like Kai Soto, like the video. Frederick says love Miami. Dominic says yes. Evan says yes. Amish says yes. Lilo says yes. Clayton, Curran, Frederick, Rashard Lee all saying yes. So does Jay Fish. We got Robert saying yes. HTBS says yes. Robert Bruce Marquise. EJ all saying yes. Trade KD to Chicago. I think that's Patrick Seatman's burner account. Jacob says no. Robert Bruce says yes. Damon says yes. Wade DeHood says yes as well. So go ahead and continue to let me know and go vote on the live poll. 134 votes. 80% say yes. 20% say no. Name a player that should get traded. You can type Kevin Durant's name. You can type Kyrie Irving's trade, assuming he opts in and then gets traded. You could type Bradley Beal's name, DeAndre Ayton on a sign-and trade. Name a player that should get traded. What do you guys think down in the comments? I think Kevin Durant should. I think he should get the hell out of Brooklyn and just admit that did not work. Let me know. Bradley Beal, John Collins, DeJounte Murray. Someone says shock the world and go to Utah. Kevin Durant ain't going to Utah. I'll tell you that right now. That is not going to happen. LeBron James, I don't think so. There have been some deep rumors, maybe since he hadn't signed an extension, that he would consider getting traded. I don't think so. John Wall leaving Houston from John. That'd be a good question for our mailbag. So use hashtag NBA. My early answer is sounds like a buyout could be on the horizon. Julius Randle from Jeff. Anthony Davis. KD to the Clippers. Perhaps. I think you'd have to include Paul George in that. Bradley Beal, Miles Turner, Mac McClung, Jason Tatum, Kobe White, Kyrie Irving, Miles Turner. We got Boban Marjanovic. Getting cuts possible. I don't think he'll get traded again, though. Eric Gordon, Malcolm Brogdon, Kelly Olynyk. Lots of votes in there. Mac Jones. You want the Patriots to trade Mac Jones? Producer Jack? Oh, brutal. Absolutely brutal. All right, shout out your favorite team in the comments. Let us know who your squad is down below. We'll get some shout-outs going here in just a moment. So shout out your favorite team. A couple more coming in, by the way. Ja Morant and Damian Lillard. Let's see. Wizards in the chat. Mavs in the chat. Evan says Bulls. Chua says Warriors. Duster says the Bulls. EJ says the Grizz. L2 is a Bulls fan. Jay Fish, a Suns fan. Duval is a Hawks fan. Orlando Magic from Derek. Thunder and Mavs from Curran. Wade DeHood says Lakers. Let's see. Heat from Frederick. Raptors from Jeff. Rudy Gobert in the chat. Jonah says Los Mavs. Black Mamba for life going Warriors. We got Warriors from Joshua as well. Da Bulls from Mark. Lakers fan from Mark Ramsey. Marquise is a Warriors fan. Thick from Wayne is a Lakers fan. We got a Clippers fan in there. A Hawks fan from Duval. Jacob is a Nets fan. Mark is a Lakers fan. Robert Bruce didn't understand the assignment. He's a Patriots fan. But you can throw your NFL team in there as well, I suppose. All right, we're going to get into the latest NBA news and rumors coming up in just a moment. But before we do that, if you love the NBA, if you love the offseason, like this video, hit that thumbs up icon. Let's at least get to 80 or 90 likes. Come on. We got 47 likes. Producer Jax has 100 likes. So like the video. Let me know what you've liked it, and I'll give you some shout-outs as well. So like this video if you're ready to get this show underway and if you love the NBA. So hit that thumbs up icon. KD to the Blazers from Danny. Yeah, perhaps. Dame Lillard ain't scared to recruit him. That's for sure. We're at 62 likes. Let's get to 80 up to 67. Once we cross 80 likes, we will get this puppy going. 72 likes. Just need 8 more. And we'll get going. Elmer has liked. He also shared the video. Awesome. Hit that share icon if you want to share it. Lilo says he liked it. So did he. Is undefeated. Clayton has liked it. A lot of likes coming in on today's show. Appreciate that. 79 likes. One more person hits that icon, and we can start today's live show. There we go. 80 likes. Appreciate everybody for hitting that thumbs up icon. Here's what's coming up on today's show, the latest NBA news and rumors. We'll talk about some specific teams as well. A lot of stuff going on across the NBA. We will answer your questions, so use hashtag NBA or Super Chat to get your questions answered here live on the show. Plus, NBA Now After Hours on Rumble. We'll stay live for a bonus segment over on Rumble, rumble.com/NBA Now. Go ahead and give us a follow there and join us at the end of our show because we'll sign off on YouTube and stay live over there. All that and more is coming up here on NBA Now by Chat Sports, so stay with us. You're watching NBA Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Harrison Graham. We got the latest NBA news and rumors coming at you as NBA free agency is just 3 days away. Let's catch you guys up on the latest Kyrie Irving rumors here as things are starting to heat up around the Brooklyn Nets Stars report. Brooklyn Nets Star, I should say. Report out of New York that the Nets have given Kyrie permission to seek sign-in trade packages. The teams that Kyrie are interested in, Lakers, Mavs, Knicks, 76ers, among those teams that have been on his radar. Now, I think what's pretty clear at this point in time, and there's a lot of new information that we're going to get to here, is that Kyrie is very unlikely to be in Brooklyn moving forward. Now, this was the list that Woj reported was Kyrie's list last week. Dallas Mavericks, LA Clippers, LA Lakers, Miami Heat, New York Knicks, and Philadelphia 76ers. Now, Adrian Wojnarowski also reported that the Mavs, Clippers, and 76ers aren't interested at this point in time. And then also the Knicks and Heat showed little interest, so pretty unlikely. Knicks are going heavily after Jalen Brunson. That's been their priority, at least as of late. Could pursue Kyrie as well. They've got the trade pieces to certainly do that if they want to, but sounds like they aren't that interested at this point in time. Now, let me ask you this. Where will Kyrie Irving play next season? Could it still be with the Nets? Is it going to be the Lakers? Where else could he end up? He's got a player option for Wednesday the 29th to opt in and seek a trade or opt out and potentially sign somewhere in free agency. But, of course, he could risk losing $36.5 million, which is what his player option is worth. Predict it for us. Where will Kyrie Irving play this upcoming season? Now, Adrian Wojnarowski also reports this when it comes to Kyrie. According to ESPN sources, outside of the Lakers, there are currently no known teams planning pursuit of sign-in trades for Kyrie Irving. No sign-in trades can be formally discussed until after 6 o'clock on Thursday. Brooklyn isn't believed to have interest in available Lakers packages. Woj also added this. If Irving, declines his $36 million player option, he would be eligible to sign with the Lakers for the $6 million taxpayers exception. Deadline is Wednesday to decide on an option. Let me just say this. And look, who knows, right? Kyrie's impossible to predict. I would be floored if Kyrie Irving played on the taxpayers mid-level. He can opt in for $36.5. You're telling me he's going to opt out because he doesn't think he can find a sign and trade and sign for $6 million? Why would he do that? That makes no sense whatsoever. Now, Kyrie has said the earth is flat before, so, he doesn't always have the clearest thoughts on these things. But you talk about someone's money, that's a $30 million difference there. This feels like the Lakers are bust, at least right now. Things could change. Does a team like Dallas or New York show interest based on who loses the Jalen Brunson sweepstakes? Maybe. That could be a possibility as well. But the Lakers consistently from the beginning here have been the team that have shown interest because they have Russell Westbrook. And if they can move Russ and get Kyrie, even with all the stuff Kyrie Irving comes with in terms of the distractions and the randomly being unavailable and things like that, that's still a clear upgrade over Russell Westbrook. I think we all know that. I think we all believe that. So, I think the Lakers are the clear front runners here, even though a trade is more difficult because you do have Russell Westbrook. But I think they're motivated enough to get something done. And I think if something does get done, it'll be from the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, subscribe to our team channels. A lot of our teams that we cover have been linked to Kyrie Irving. The Lakers Report approaching 47,000 subscribers. Go subscribe over there if you're a part of Laker Nation, youtube.com/LakersTV. If you're a Warriors fan, youtube.com/WarriorsTV. Just crossed 33,000 subscribers over there. Dallas Mavericks Today has been red hot with coverage, videos every day right there. YouTube.com/MavsTV. Celtics Today is approaching 10,000 subscribers. Help us get there if you're a C's fan. YouTube.com/CelticsTV. And then Knicks Now and 76ers Now. YouTube.com/KnicksTV and YouTube.com/76erstv are 6 teams that we have specific channels to. And hey, here's the deal. If you're a fan of another team, go support these channels. Maybe your team could be next. Obviously, with all the Kyrie Irving rumors comes Kevin Durant rumors. Damian Lillard appears to be recruiting Kevin Durant. We'll talk about that and then just the overall latest on KD as reports are out there that he is mulling his future in Brooklyn. We discussed that last week. Now, things heated up this weekend when Lillard posted a photo of Durant in a Blazers jersey over the weekend. Yusuf Nurkic reposted that on Twitter. He's a free agent with the Blazers, expected to re-sign there, so it appears he's recruiting him as well. Now, what do we know? Portland is desperate to get a star with Dame. Dame wants to make it work in Portland. If he can get a guy like Kevin Durant, here's the post here, which, I'm not going to lie, that photo is icy. You get KD in that Portland red. It's a pretty good look. That's the type of guy they've been looking for, right? It didn't work with C.J. McCollum as Dame's co-star. You get KD in there, though, where he's your number 1 and Dame's your number 2, that would be awesome. Now, let's be clear. This is obviously tampering, but I'm here for it. And the NBA pretended to care about tampering last year when they took a pair of second-round picks away. But you know what? I'm loving the NBA offseason drama. I'm here for it. You guys are here for it. I love Dame photoshopping KD in a Blazers jersey right next to him. Make it happen. I would love to see Durant play with Damian Lillard because this is a dude that's still top 3, top 5 in the league easily. He averaged 30 last year, over 7 rebounds, 6.4 assists as well, 38% from three-point range. Kevin Durant is an absolute dog, and if you could get him up in Portland, that combination would be electric. Plus, you got Jeremy Grant now, assuming he wouldn't have to be a part of a trade, which maybe he would, but if you could avoid that, then you got Grant is kind of your number 3 there. You re-sign Yusuf Nurkic to play the 5. That's a formidable lineup if you can make that work up in Portland. Where do you want Kevin Durant to play next season? Where would you like KD to end up? Not where you think he'll end up. Where would you like to see him end up? I would like the idea of Portland because I've respected Dame for staying there and trying to gut it out. You get KD there, all of a sudden they're major contenders. Now, Kevin Durant did talk about Kyrie Irving on the ETC's podcast says, quote, "There's no involvement at all. I mean, I can't be involved with this man's livelihood. You know, this is much bigger than me. Being a free agent is one of the most important times in your career. That can't be swayed by anyone else. I just do me and wait for the time. There's nothing that can happen right now. I don't think he can even make a decision on opting out until the 29th, I think. So I just kind of let things play out and see what happens. Keep the regular contact with Kai, and we'll see what happens. It's something that's so much out of my control that I don't want to be a part of it." Well, you know what I think, KD? I think the Nets are getting blown up. I think Kyrie Irving's going to be gone, probably going to be with the Lakers. And I think if that happens, Kevin Durant's going to be out the door as well. I think he will request a trade, and I think the Nets will have no choice but to grant it because Kevin Durant, if he wants out, he will be out. Believe me on that. I think this thing's going to blow up, and then cue the Will Smith meme in the house alone for Ben Simmons because all his buddies are going to be gone. Then you add this. Brian Windhorst, Bleacher Report, tweeted this out. He hopped on television and said the Nets are prepared to lose both Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. Brooklyn would rather lose both stars, quote, than go through what they went through last season, which that speaks volumes. I mean, with Kyrie being in and out due to the vaccine status, the whole Harden drama, Windhorst is saying, hey, they'd rather just be drama-free and get rid of Kyrie and KD than to go through that again, which seems like a decision for Brooklyn, but, man, could you imagine if this wraps up after 3 seasons? And I think it is. I think they're done. I think that this is going to blow up. It's one of the most failed attempts at building a dynasty in sports history. You get Kevin Durant, you get Kyrie Irving, you bring in James Harden, and what happens in 3 years? You win 1 playoff series. Absolute failure at this point in time. Should Kevin Durant demand a trade? What do you think? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I think he should, and quite honestly, I think he will. I don't think he'll be a Brooklyn Net next season. Now, here's the deal. Things are about to really ramp up on the KD front, Kyrie Irving, and tons of other players as well. NBA free agency starts this Thursday, June 30th, and we're going to be live covering it all here at Chat Sports. So subscribe and join us, youtube.com/ChatSportsTV. Myself, Chase Sr., the entire NBA team here at Chat Sports. We'll have you covered with it all, so go ahead and subscribe right now. Let's talk Donovan Mitchell now, who's been connected to trade rumors off and on for the last several months, even going back to the regular season. Well, he thought he'd spice things up a little bit. He posted on his IG story a song titled, quote, "Let Me Go." Now, I do think sometimes athletes like to mess with the public and just say, I'm sure they won't think anything of this whatsoever. But what we do know is rumors around Mitchell wanting a trade have been circulating. It doesn't sound like him and Rudy Gobert want to coexist forever. Plus, you add on top of that, the Jazz still haven't hired a new head coach. We don't know who their head coach is going to be. Here's the photo here of GIVEON, who, I'm not super familiar with his work, but the song titled "Let Me Go." You can't tell me that's not intentional. Now, again, he could just be trolling basketball fans and people like us, the media, and whatnot. But he could also be sending a message. I think these athletes are very calculated in what they do on social media. Here's what I'm pretty confident in saying. I think one of, if not both, Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell will be gone. I don't think they will both be in Utah next year unless there's an unforeseen development. I think one of them will be gone. I think there's a decent chance both will be gone. But if I'm Utah, I'm probably keeping one, building around that one, letting the other one go, because I just think we've seen enough of these two guys playing together. Now, I'd prefer to keep Mitch than Gobert, but it may not work out that way. Donovan Mitchell is an excellent player. 26 points, over 5 assists, and 4 rebounds last season, can really light it up, but the Jazz have fallen short time and time again in the postseason, and you kind of wonder if they've maxed out with this duo of D. Mitch and Gobert. So who gets traded? At least who's more likely to get traded? Type DM for Donovan Mitchell, type RG for Rudy Gobert, or type B for both. I think it's very possible that both end up not being with the Utah Jazz next year. Let us know, DM, RG, or B down in the comments. Kai Soto did not get drafted in the NBA draft, but there's some rumors out there, some buzz around whether or not he'll sign with a team in the Summer League after being not picked in last week's NBA draft. Now, initially, his agent came out and said that he will not play in the Summer League. Kai Soto tweeted out after, "My agent misspoke. I have not made a firm decision yet." Now, he then deleted that tweet, so Could that signal that he's not going to play in the Summer League? Possibly, but he hasn't completely dismissed it. So we'll have to wait and see what happens on that front. Kai Sotto did tweet this a couple of days ago. Not the outcome that we wanted, talking about not getting picked, but it's what I needed. My vision became clear, and I believe in God's plans for me. I'm far from over, and I'm not stopping till I get to fulfill my dreams. Obviously, he's got the Filipino flag there as well. Here's what I'll say. Kai Sotto should play in the Summer League. I think it would benefit him greatly. He could show NBA scouts and coaches what his skill set is, what he's all about, not only as a player but as a potential teammate as well. I think it would be a great and unique opportunity. Even if after the Summer League he decides, I'm going to stay overseas, I'm going to play for the 36ers in Adelaide for a couple more years. Okay, great, and continue to develop. You can do that, but sign with an NBA team and play in the Summer League. I think that would benefit Kai Sotto very, very much, and I think it would be the right decision for him in his career. Do you want your favorite team, I meant to say sign Kai Sotto. Do you want your favorite team to sign him? I think a lot of you guys wanted him to draft him. Like this video if you would like to see your favorite team sign Sotto for the NBA Summer League. Now, you looked at his numbers from last year. 7.5 points, 4.4 rebounds. He can stretch the floor as a pretty good shooter from deep, 38.5%. Now, you know, he gets stuck on switches, and that can be a little challenging defensively, but when he's able to just defend the paint, decent rim protector as well. And here's the deal about Kai Sotto, and I understand the passion behind it and why he was frustrated and why fans were frustrated as well, because he's got a whole country behind him. I mean, he's got a chance to be the first Filipino NBA player in NBA history. That's a lot of pressure and a lot of expectations around him, and that is why he should play in the Summer League. So, Kai, if you're watching, get with the team, get with your agent, get on board, and let's play in the Summer League. Let's see what you can bring to the table. I want to see it. We're going to cover the Summer League here at Chat Sports, and we would be fired up if he played in the Summer League and we got to see what he could bring to the table for these teams. I think a lot of teams would be very interested in bringing him on board. Up to him if he wants to do that or not. Predict it for us. Will Kai Sotto play in the NBA Summer League? Type P for play. Type W for won't. I don't think he's going to, which is a bit disappointing. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments section. Get some shout-outs here. What do you guys think? J. Lou says he will. Bay Area says he'll play. Rainier says he'll play. JJ says he'll play. Jabriel says he'll play. We got Arthur saying he'll play. DeBlair says he'll play. Paul says he'll play. Jabari says he won't. So does Lilo the Champion, JJ, Dayhuv, Mark all saying he'll play. Josh Martin, Juan. We got Arthur saying he'll play as well. Jeff saying he won't. Sam saying he won't. Brandon saying he'll play. We got over 720 people watching live. Appreciate everybody for tuning in to us here at Chat Sports. Be sure to hit that subscribe button down below because we got a lot more NBA news and rumors coming up, including our mailbag, #NBA or Super Chat. We'll answer your questions here in a little bit. But we got a couple of teams with some news and rumors around them. We'll get to that first. Let's get into the latest 76ers news and rumors. I'm Harrison Graham here from Chat Sports, and with NBA free agency upon us, a lot of buzz around the Sixers as they look to, retool and recharge for the upcoming season. Let's get into the latest around PJ Tucker because this has been circulating for the better part of a week now. Mark Stein doubling down via his Substack. Go check out his work over there that the expectation is for Tucker to sign with the 76ers. Reported deal would be 3 years and $30 million. That's at least what's being rumored. He, of course, opted out of his player option with the Heat last week of $7.5 million, so he is now free to test the open market. And it was a nice little bounce back year for PJ Tucker. Was a little more productive offensively, and the defense was as good as ever. Here's what Stein said via his Substack, quote, "Numerous rival teams, meanwhile, say with even more conviction now than they did last week when I first reported on Wednesday that they expect PJ Tucker to land in Philadelphia on a 3-year, $30 million deal in free agency. If Pat Riley's Heat can find a way to now re-sign Tucker, that will definitely surprise some people. It seems increasingly safe then to at least pencil in a Harden-Tucker reunion into a Sixers offseason that already features the draft day acquisition of DeAnthony Melton from Memphis." And I would agree with that. Based on what's out there, it sounds kind of like a done deal that unless Miami ponies up and says, you know what, we can't afford to lose P.J. Tucker, we'll figure out a way to get the money to keep him. I think he opted out for a reason. I think he caught wind that Daryl Morey, the Sixers GM, would really like to bring him to Philadelphia, a guy he was paired with in Houston as well, and obviously a teammate in James Harden that knows him really well from his time during the Houston Rockets as well. And I think if you could make this happen, this potential lineup of James Harden and Tyrese Maxey in your backcourt, which Tyrese Maxey I expect to take another step. I think he'll be a 20-point scorer next year and develop even more into a leader. James Harden, you're hoping he can get into a little bit of better shape and play at a higher level next season. Tobias Harris, if he's back, unless you want to move his contract. P.J. Tucker could slide into that stretch 4 role. And then Joel Embiid, of course, who should have been the reigning MVP, still in the center there as well. Then DeAnthony Melton, a good bench piece. Matisse Thybulle, who could get dealt. We'll see. Jordan Yang, some decent bench pieces there as well. What we know is P.J. Tucker is an absolute difference maker. Every team he's on goes deep in the playoffs. He was on the Bucks championship team. He was on those Rockets teams making deep runs. He was a game away from the NBA Finals this year with the Miami Heat. He's a defensive dog. He brings attitude. He can knock down corner threes, and he's just an absolute leader on every team that he plays on, and you cannot replicate what that means. You can't put a statistical number on what he brings to the table. I think he would be an absolute great fit. I think the Sixers need someone like this, someone with a no-losing mentality, like no more BS. Bring a guy like this in here. He's going to hold teammates accountable, and I think that would be very good for Philadelphia. Grade the contract of 3 years and $30 million, if, of course, it's accurate. A, B, C, D, or F. Nothing's official, obviously. Free agency doesn't open until Thursday. Obviously, it's a lot of money. It's a guy who's 36 years old, so keep all of that in mind. But grade the contract of 3 years and $30 million. And I do want to remind you guys, NBA free agency does open on Thursday, 6 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Central Time, 3 o'clock on the West Coast. And we're going to be covering it here at Chat Sports. So be sure to join us, youtube.com/ChatSportsTV. Myself, Chase Sr., you guys are used to seeing him on 76ers Now. We'll have you covered with the latest NBA free agency news and rumors, every deal that happens, plus everything surrounding the Sixers. We'll have you covered as well. Let's get you caught up on the latest Dallas Mavericks news and rumors. I'm your host, Harrison Graham. Welcome into the show. Jalen Brunson continues to be the story in Dallas and one of the bigger stories across the NBA, trailing just Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. Mark Stein, via his Substack, says, look, it's 50-50 between the Mavs and the Knicks for Brunson. Claims only Brunson and his dad for sure know what's going on right now. They're keeping their cards very close to their chest. Of course, his dad, Rick Brunson, is an assistant coach with the New York Knicks now, and free agency opens this Thursday, 6 Eastern, 5 Central, so we should have a clearer picture at that point in time. Here's Stein on his Substack. The Knicks have unquestionably positioned themselves as a very real threat to the Mavericks, but presumably only Brunson and his father, Knicks assistant coach Rick Brunson, know precisely where things stand. When it comes to the Knicks, expected 4-year offer to Brunson worth at least $100 million, as well as Dallas's ability to zoom comfortably past that mark as the only team that can furnish a 5-year deal. These things often come down to two things, in my opinion. Of course, there's other factors, but they come down to two things. Number one, money. Number two, fit. That's it when it comes to these players. And the number one usually is the trump card, which Dallas can actually offer more because they can go into the luxury tax and they can offer a 5th year. But fit is very important as well. And as we outlined on Dallas Mavericks Today on a video, I believe on Friday, there's pros and cons to staying in Dallas versus going to New York. There very, very much is. Pros of staying in Dallas. Mavs are a playoff contender. That's number one. I think Dallas gives you a more immediate chance to win right away than a team like the New York Knicks do. This team is very tight-knit. They get along very well. We saw that last year with the bench mob and all of that stuff. No state income tax. I think that's relevant. Brunson will be able to keep more of his money on his contract here in Dallas versus New York. Cons of staying in Dallas. won't ever be the number one option. Less room to grow as a player, playing next to Luka Doncic. And, of course, he won't get to play under his dad, which is obviously a unique opportunity. That leads us to the pros and cons of going to New York. He has a chance to become the star player there. He would get to play under his dad, Rick Brunson. The ability to potentially become a superstar there, since he would be the primary ball handler on offense, certainly offers more opportunity. The cons, Knicks have been an unstable franchise for over 20 years. There's more pressure of playing at the Garden in NYC, and he won't have good teammates around him like Luka to work off of. Not to that level, at least. Obviously, R.J. Barrett's a good young player, and they presumably could get some other pieces as well, but it's obviously a different ball game. I'll continue to say this. The Mavs offer Brunson the best chance to win, and I think financially can offer the most money. Now, is Dallas going to go up to $30 million per year? I don't know. That remains to be seen, but again, they're already going into the luxury tax, so they can pay $35 million a year for Brunson if they want to. Just a matter of if they want to and how high the Knicks are willing to go and just what Jalen Brunson wants at the end of the day. Is this more about money or if it's about an opportunity to get to do more within the flow of an offense? If it's the latter, honestly, the Knicks give him more room to develop as a player. So who's going to get Brunson? I think it's 50-50. Mark Stein thinks it's 50-50. We'll see what happens. Type DAL for the Mavericks. Type NYK for the New York Knicks. I still think Dallas has a good chance here, but I'm obviously less confident than I was even just a few days ago. Now, Mavericks fans, we'll get to see this all unfold once NBA free agency gets going this Thursday, June 30th. So be sure to join us live on Chat Sports, youtube.com/ChatSportsTV. Myself, Chase Sr., the entire Chat Sports staff will get you guys caught up on everything, every deal that happens. And, of course, if the Mavericks make a move, we'll have you covered on that as well. Get some shout-outs here. Who's going to get Jalen Brunson? Type DAL for the Mavs, NYK for the New York Knicks. Get your votes in below. Dandy says New York Knicks. JJ says New York Knicks. Let's see. We got Marquis says Dallas. JJ says Knicks. Chase Senior burner account says Dallas. Chase is off today, so that is very suspicious. Let's see. Juan says the Knicks. Al Green says the Dallas Mavericks. Acreus says the New York Knicks. We got Cloud Nation saying the Mavericks. Wizards from S. Smith. Eric says Dallas. Marquis says New York Knicks. Brian says New York Knicks. We got Rashard Lee saying Dallas. Knicks from JJ Sports. Duval says New York Knicks. JJ says Knicks as well. If you love the NBA, go ahead and like this video. We got almost 900 people watching live, and only 162 people have liked this video. Come on, we can get at least to 200, if not 300 people liking this video. That's just based on simple odds there. So like the video. Let me know once you've liked it. I'll get some shout-outs here. We're not jumping to our mailbag until we get to 200 likes. That's just how this is going to go. So hit that thumbs up icon, and let's get to 200 here. Appreciate everybody for tuning in today. Coming up, we will get into a mailbag where you answer all your questions, hashtag NBA, or you can super chat. Durval, appreciate the question. Use hashtag NBA there. 13 likes away from 200, and then we can keep it moving here. Appreciate that very much. Just need a few more. Already seeing some questions come in. We'll get to as many of those as we possibly can. Miss says Dallas, by the way, so appreciate you getting in on the show. Kyrie to LA, a done deal. Wouldn't say a done deal, but it kind of feels like that's where it's going. All right, we crossed 200 likes. Appreciate that. Mailbag coming up here. Use hashtag NBA or Super Chat to get your questions on the show. Got over 850 people watching. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Our NBA coverage heating up here at Chat Sports. Be sure to subscribe and get those questions in. We're going to get into all of your questions here in a moment on today's NBA Rumors Mailbag. But first, subscribe to the channel because NBA free agency is almost here and trade rumors are circulating. So if you don't want to miss any of it, we're the channel for you, youtube.com/ChatSportsTV. The link is right there. We've got non-stop NBA offseason coverage. So go ahead and subscribe right now. You're watching NBA Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Harrison Graham. Appreciate everybody for tuning in, and I appreciate everybody for submitting their questions. Use hashtag NBA or Super Chat, and we'll answer as many as we can. Marvin Mack, where will DeAndre Ayton play next season? That's a good question. There's a lot of rumors out there. Could he be a part of some sort of sign-in trade with the Nets if they move Kevin Durant? Who the hell knows? I think a lot of teams would certainly have interest in DeAndre Ayton. Double-double guy last year at over 17 points and 10 rebounds. I think he can be a better shot blocker, depending on how teams use him as well. 63% from the field, so very efficient player who can stretch out to the three-point line from time to time as well. His mid-range is pretty money. I kind of think Ayton's leaving Phoenix. I do think there's a pretty decent chance that happens. Phoenix was not able to get a deal done before last season when he was available for a max extension. Why would they extend him to or sign him to a max now? I don't know. He is restricted. Maybe he signs elsewhere. Then Phoenix makes a decision on a offer sheet. But if I had to guess, I kind of think DeAndre Ayton's playing for a different team next year. I think a lot of teams would have interest in him. So speaking of, depending on whatever your favorite team is, would you want your favorite team to sign DeAndre Ayton? Type S for sign, type P for pass. I'd like to have DeAndre Ayton on my team. Obviously, money factors in. S for sign or P for pass. Got a question from Amish Abe. Is Lonzo still hurt? Yeah, still rehabbing the knee. There is some concerns about that, so we'll see come training camps in September, October how he's rehabbing. But hopefully he gets back to being fully healthy, because when he was fully healthy, the Chicago Bulls were playing at a very, very high level last season. Jeremiah Leal, DeJounte Murray to the Hawks. I keep hearing this, and there's rumors around this of a DeJounte Murray, John Collins-centric trade. Someone explain this to me, because I don't understand it. DeJounte Murray's not a great shooter, and he needs the ball in his hands. So you're going to take the ball out of Trae Young's hands, and you get worse in your front court if you're Atlanta. I get shopping John Collins for maybe a wing, a type of player that could be a 3-and-D guy. Then Clint Capella is the primary big that you play if you're Atlanta. But I don't get this DeJounte Murray thing. Someone needs to explain it to me. I don't understand it whatsoever. Acria, should the Warriors sign TJ Warren on a minimum or as a replacement, or on a minimum as a replacement, sorry about that, for Otto Porter if they are priced out of re-signing him? Could he fill in a similar role Otto did? Now, Warren's a more talented offensive player than Otto Porter. He's also been hurt a bunch the last 2 years, Warren has, and he's probably not quite the defender. But yeah, I think a similar type of role where he comes off the bench, except for he gives you more offensive punch than Porter did. He's more of an ISO guy, whereas Porter's kind of a catch-and-shoot three-point shooter and can play within the flow of the offense, cut to the basket. Warren can do some of that, but he needs the ball in his hands sometimes as well. But playing next to Jordan Poole coming off the bench potentially is a primary scorer. I think that could make sense for Golden State. Yuan Ventura, should DeAndre Ayton join the Golden State Warriors or should they trade Kevon Looney? I don't think Ayton can go to Golden State unless they move like an Andrew Wiggins. I don't think that works. So I don't expect that. Plus, the latest rumors on Kevon Looney are actually that it sounds like he's going to re-sign there. So that's a pretty significant development for Golden State. Spam account, are the Sixers making a mistake if they keep James Harden? We've debated this a lot in the Chat Sports office. I don't mind a short-term deal for him, like a 2-year deal or a 3-year with maybe a team option on the third year. I don't think I'd give him a player option for a third year. 2 or less, unless the third year is a team option or partially guaranteed. Harden's still a good player, but you see the decline. Last year, 22 points, almost 8 rebounds. Now he's improved as a distributor, over 10 per game the last 2 years. But look at 2018-19, 2019-20. He was averaging about 35, 7, and 7, whereas the last 2 years about 23, 8, and 10. He's changed his game a little bit, which I do think he should be more of that distributor type. I think that's his strengths now. He's lost a bit of a step in terms of getting his own bucket. But if he's a 20 to 23-point scorer and he averages 10 assists per game, but he's more efficient offensively and he dedicates more to his craft in terms of being in better shape, I still think he could be a good point guard for Philadelphia and be a major contributor. What we know is this. This is a big offseason for James Harden. He's got to get into better shape. He's got to get going with a nutritionist, and he's got to take it more seriously because you look last year and he was just getting gassed defensively. He was taking stupid shots. Be a smarter player, be a better player, and I still think he can be an impactful guy for Philly. But make no mistake, he's not going to be the guy he was 4 or 5 years ago, but that's okay. You've got Joel Embiid. Work on that chemistry, that little two-man game that at times we saw flourish in the second half of this year. Now, do you trust James Harden? I think that's a big question here in terms of trying to commit to him for a few years. Type T for trust, type D for don't. I understand both sides of it. Get your votes in, T for trust or D for don't. Now, NBA Now is also on Rumble as we're publishing our NBA videos over there as well. Rumble.com/NBA Now. If you want more NBA news and rumors, go check us out over there. If you've already subscribed on YouTube, another easy way to support the show, Rumble.com/NBA Now. Go ahead and subscribe right there. A super chat from Derek, who didn't send in a question. Next time, Derek, ask a question. We'd love to answer it. SM, if Kyrie signs for the mid-level this year, can the Lakers max out Kyrie next offseason? I mean, yeah, they could, because Russell Westbrook would be off their books. And I've seen this idea thrown out there, Adrian Wojnarowski. Well, if the sign and trade doesn't work, he could opt out and sign for the taxpayers' mid-level of $6.3 million. Well, yes, he could, and maybe he's crazy enough to do it, but why would he? Even teams who are hesitant to sign him would give him $25 million per year, even if it may only be a 1 or 2 year deal. But why would he do that? He can opt in for $36.5 million and either play his last year with the Nets or hopefully get traded to a team like the Lakers, or he can opt out and take way less to play for LA. Like, imagine Kyrie Irving, yeah, I'll take $6 million to start for the Lakers while Russell Westbrook comes off the bench for $47 million. That just makes no sense whatsoever. So, can he? Yes. Should he? Absolutely not. Ramir Albert Lazada, Kyrie for John Wall. It sounds like John Wall is going to work out a buyout with the Houston Rockets. I don't think them bringing Kyrie on board makes any sense. They're rebuilding right now. They're probably going to tank for one more year. Then 2023 and beyond, look to start contending again if you are Houston. So I don't think that makes sense. And I don't think the Nets, why do the Nets want John Wall? So no, I don't think that's happening. Crazy Kevin, if the Knicks swing and miss on Brunson, what should they do? Look, I mean, it's obviously a hot topic, right? The Knicks have made some moves to try and make a move for Brunson, but as my guy Marshall Green, who hosts New York Knicks Now here at Chat Sports, has pointed out, they'll have other flexibility financially and with draft picks. What I think the Knicks should do, Brunson or not, go get Donovan Mitchell. I don't think he wants to be in Utah anymore. I do think he would enjoy being in New York. He spends enough time there in the offseason. He's been going to Mets games, and he went to some New York Ranger games when they were in the playoffs. Go get D. Mitch, who, is he a Tier 1 bona fide superstar? I think that's up for debate. He's for sure a Tier 2 guy. He's a multi-time All-Star who is a 25-point scorer. He would be easily the best player they've had since Carmelo Anthony, and I think there is a pretty decent chance that they could get him via trade. You've got enough capital if you're the Knicks, 4 first-round picks next year. You've got a pick in 24. You've got 2 in 25, 11 total over the next 7 years, first-round picks. If you are the New York Knicks, maybe a team would be interested in taking Julius Randle. So the Knicks can make some moves if they can find a partner to do so. And if D. Mitch goes to Utah and says, I want out, go get him. I think that's a move that makes a lot of sense for the New York Knicks. What's the better option for the Knicks? Type DM for Donovan Mitchell. Now, I'm factoring in trading for Donovan Mitchell, so you give up assets, or just signing Jalen Brunson, where, sure, you're moving guys around to clear money, but you're not having to trade first-round picks, et cetera, to the Dallas Mavericks. Type JB for Jalen Brunson. Mitchell's obviously the better player, but would you rather just sign JB? Let me know down in the comments. Justin with the super chat. Appreciate the $2. Muck to the Pistons more likely if LA gets Kyrie. Not necessarily unless Kyrie's taking up that taxpayer. Now, if he is, then I don't think Monk would go back. But there's a report out there that Malik Monk might just take less to return on the taxpayers, which is about $6.3 million, whereas he could get $10 to $12 million on the open market. So, yeah, if Kyrie or someone else gets that taxpayers contract from the Lakers, I would expect at that point in time for Monk to go to Detroit or another team that could pay him some money. Jose Salas, what is your take? Appreciate the super chat, by the way. What's your take about the Pelicans next season? I think they might be one of the biggest wildcard teams in the NBA. I was impressed with how they played once they got C.J. McCollum. They snuck into the playoffs and took the Phoenix Suns to 6 games. I thought that was impressive. And then they obviously they lost that series. But at the same time, I think they can be a team, if Zion comes back fully healthy, that can contend. I really do. I think they can win 45, 50 games next year if that ends up happening. So we'll see. Zion's obviously, a guy who's missed a lot of time, but the last time we saw him healthy, he was dropping about 30 a game. So if you get something close to that, even 25 a game from Zion, plus what these guys were giving you, CJ, Brandon Ingram, and these role players, yeah, they're a team to watch out for next year. Carl John, should the Celtics trade for John Collins? A lot of John Collins rumors circulating as he appears to be on the trade block. That, according to numerous reports, really starting about a month ago, a report out of Atlanta saying that everyone is tradable except Trae Young, and the Collins trade rumors have certainly circulated over the past month or so. I've always liked John Collins. 5 years in the NBA, 16.5 points, over 8 rebounds. He can stretch the floor as a three-point shooter. He can block shots. He can play above the rim. Not the best defender, but a guy in the modern NBA that can really play at the 4 or the 5. I like him better as a stretch 5 personally in today's NBA, but he can give you some minutes at the 4 too. I don't get why Atlanta has tried to trade him his entire career and then they paid him last year. I've always been confused by that. For the Celtics, I think, you got to ask yourself, is Robert Williams' defense more valuable than what John Collins' offense could bring you? I would say probably yes, but could you move an Al Horford, who's going to be on the last year of his contract? Possibly. Send him back to Atlanta. Name a player the Celtics should trade for. Down in the comments, who do you think Boston should go out and get on the trade market? Let me know down below. Derek Householder gets the final word with a super chat. Donovan Mitchell for Brunson and picks in a sign and trade. The problem there is Brunson's not going to Utah. It's Dallas or the Knicks, and he has that power because he's an unrestricted free agent. He doesn't have to agree to go to Utah on a sign and trade. So I don't think that's going to happen unless it's a 3-team deal where Brunson ends up in New York, D-Mitch in Dallas, and then other pieces like picks and young assets to Utah. I guess that could happen, but even then it seems like a long shot, and I'm not sure Dallas would want Donovan Mitchell anyway, but it'd be fun next to Luka Doncic. Name a player that should get traded. Let me know down in the comments section. Name a player that should get traded. Appreciate all the questions coming in here. 1,000 people watching live here on NBA Now. So be sure to subscribe because our coverage is heating up. Free agency opens on Thursday. We'll be live for that. 6 o'clock Eastern. We'll go live probably at 5 o'clock Eastern, hour early. So stay tuned for that Thursday night, June 30th. We'll have more NBA videos between now and then as well. I think Chase Sr. Will be live on Wednesday for our live show, getting you ready for free agency. So buckle up for that. All right, like the video if you love the NBA. Hit that thumbs up icon, and if you've liked it, when you like the video, let me know, and I'll give you some shout-outs here on NBA Now. So hit that thumbs up icon. Let's get to 300 likes. We're 66 away. We're at 238. Can we get to 1,000? Come on. Someone says talk about the Wizards, not just Beal. Okay, they should try and trade for Kevin Durant. How about that? Bring him home. He's from D.C. T-Yak has liked it. Appreciate that. Rashard Lee has liked it. Someone says Durant to the Suns. Well, funny enough, DeAndre Ayton's odds of where he'll end up next season, the Nets are the second most likely team. His odds skyrocketing up. Suns are still the favorite, but the Nets second favorite. What does that tell me? Could DeAndre Ayton be a part of a sign-and trade to Brooklyn to get Kevin Durant to Phoenix? Who says no? Just saying. KD to the Mavs. Like your face from DD. Thanks, DD. Beal to the Heat. Like this video if you love the NBA. Appreciate everybody who's done so. Quit has liked it. Marcus liked it. Tiak liked it. You guys are the best. All right. We got some news and rumors coming up around the Lakers and the Warriors, so we'll cover that. And then we'll have a bonus segment only on Rumble. So stay tuned. We got a lot more to come here on NBA Now by Chat Sports. We got the latest Lakers news and rumors to cover for you guys coming up right now. I am Harrison Graham from Chat Sports. Stick with us for the latest around the purple and gold. Could Malik Monk stay in Los Angeles? That is the topic here on the Lakers Report. Monk says that he might be willing to take less money to re-sign with the Lakers. Now, all the reports and rumors say that he could make $10 to $12 million on the open market after the year he had last year in Los Angeles, as he was, quite frankly, the only consistent role player for LA a year ago. For now, the Lakers can only offer the $6.3 million taxpayer mid-level, which, you know, most mid-levels are around $10 million. The Lakers only have the taxpayer. That's significantly less, $4 or $5 less million on this upcoming year. Monk talked to The Athletic. Here's the report on that. They might not be able to pay me as much as I want, Monk says, but I could be here and be way more comfortable as a Laker than going to any other team, and they're paying me $5 million more. So it's me just trying to figure out what team would really want me. Well, number one, this would be huge for Los Angeles if they could get Malik Monk back and not have to pay market value for him. To pay less would be massive. Now, we've seen in the past, Malik Monk has said stuff before basically saying he doesn't care about money. I mean, he took the vet minimum last year to play with LA. He could have easily made $5, $6, $7 million on the open market. He did not. He played for about $2 million and then played well, 14 points per game. Good energy, good shooting for LA, which is some of the stuff he provides, that youthfulness, the energy, the shooting. He could start, he can come off the bench. This is a rare player that's not looking to max himself out financially at his age. You rarely see that in today's NBA. He's saying, look, you know, sure, I'd like to make more money, but if LA's the best fit, that's where I'm going to be. He did it last offseason, seemed to enjoy himself, could do it again this offseason as well. And look, I will give Malik Monk credit for this. If it's Detroit for $10 million a year or LA for $6.3 million next year, Russell Westbrook coming off the books the year after that, maybe you play well again, and then maybe the Lakers reward you with $12 to $15 million per year. Maybe that could happen. He's still young enough for that to be the case, so maybe he's thinking long-term as well. Of course, not taking the most money is always risky. What if he has a down year, gets injured, etc.? But I find that admirable, and if you are the Lakers, that would be huge because Malik Monk is a really, really nice role player. How hyped would you be if Monk re-signed in L.A.? Scale it from 1 to 10, 1 being, you don't like Malik Monk, he stinks. Hopefully no ones in the comments. 10 being, you'd be fired up, especially if it was for the taxpayers mid-level. Let me know in the comments, scale it from 1 to 10. How hyped would you be if Malik Monk was back in Los Angeles? Now, Laker fans, be sure to join us for our NBA free agency coverage live starting this Thursday, June 30th. We'll be live on Friday and Saturday, I believe Sunday and Monday as well, the first 4 or 5 days of free agency. We'll have you guys covered. YouTube.com/chatsportstv. Subscribe. We'll have you covered over there. And, of course, if the Lakers make any notable moves, we'll have you covered here on the Lakers Report. The latest Golden State Warriors news and rumors coming at you. I am Harrison Graham from Chat Sports. NBA free agency is almost here, so let's get you caught up on everything surrounding Dub Nation. Now, I do want to get to this first. Draymond Green talked about Kyrie and his potential of joining the Los Angeles Lakers. Here's what Draymond had to say on this potential reunion between LeBron James and Kyrie Irving. He says, quote, with LeBron James, if you give them someone like Kyrie, they'll have a chance because of the way Kyrie can score the basketball. LeBron will only put him in a position to do that. Kyrie has not proven to be a great leader, but LeBron will put an umbrella over that. If you can do what you're good at, you have LeBron leading, they could contend, but then he adds this, but they won't beat us. I think what he's saying is completely accurate. I think if you get Kyrie and dump Russ, that does help the Lakers' chances of contending. But I also agree, I don't think it puts LA over the top. Kyrie Irving, since they won a championship in 2016 with the Cleveland Cavaliers, has been anything but reliable. He's not a leader. He got ran out of Boston for his lack of leadership skills. It has not worked out in Brooklyn, but he's a damn good player, and he's better with Russ, so it would make the Lakers better. But I agree with Draymond, too. Cocky or not, hey, the Warriors are still the team to beat, even if Kyrie ends up in Los Angeles. So it'll be fascinating to see how that plays out, how it could impact Golden State's chances of repeating. But I tend to lean with Draymond here. If Kyrie lands in LA, I'm still not that concerned. I think Golden State is still clearly a peg above Los Angeles. Are you worried about Kyrie joining the Lakers? Be honest with me. Type Y for yes, type in for no. I don't think you should be worried. Is it another peg you have to work through in the Western Conference? Sure, because at that point, LA has to be considered a formidable foe. Y for yes, in for no. Are you concerned about Kyrie possibly joining the Lakers? Let's talk about Kyle Anderson. Could he be a target for the Warriors during NBA free agency? Bleacher Report dropped an article of one target each team should go out and look at during free agency. They pointed to Kyle Anderson as an option for that taxpayer mid-level for Golden State. And look, Kyle Anderson has had a nice few years in Memphis. He was kind of a semi-bust with the San Antonio Spurs to start his career, goes to Memphis, and he's played pretty darn well the last few years. Here's Bleacher Report on Kyle Anderson and the fit with Golden State. Quote, the Warriors could spend upward of $500 million on the salaries and luxury tax payments for the 22-23 squad. But if ownership throws even more caution to the wind, a forward like Kyle Anderson on the taxpayer mid-level exception makes a lot of basketball sense. And I agree with that, because the thing about Kyle Anderson is he's very well-rounded, can do a bit of everything. He can handle the ball a little bit. He's a pretty good defender. He's not the best three-point shooter, but he's good enough to space the floor. He can grab rebounds. He can play defense. He can start. He can come off the bench. He does a bit of everything. He's not great at anything, but he's not bad at anything. He's pretty solid all around at pretty much everything you need in a basketball player, especially on a team like the Warriors. He can come in, play 20 minutes a game, probably come off the bench, but, on load management nights, he can start for you as well, and you don't feel like, oh, God, we got to trot Kyle out there. No, Kyle Anderson's a solid player and can fit in with this team, and I think fit in with just about any team with his skill set. Now, maybe you don't want Kyle Anderson. Maybe you want someone else with the Golden State Warriors. So go down in the comments and name a free agent that you want the Warriors to sign. Let me know in the comments. Who would you like to see Golden State go out and sign? And be sure to join us for our NBA free agency live coverage starting on Thursday, June 30th. Free agency opens at 6 Eastern, 5 Central, 3 o'clock over on the West Coast for those of you near the Bay. Subscribe to our main Chat Sports YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/chatsportstv. We will have you guys covered with everything surrounding NBA free agency and the Golden State Warriors. Circle back to our live poll question. Should Kevin Durant demand a trade? Type Y for yes, type in for no. Should Kevin Durant demand a trade from the Brooklyn Nets? Y for yes, in for no. And this is actually going to be pretty much our segment coming up on Rumble only. We're going to talk about 10 teams that Kevin Durant could get traded to if he does demand a trade. I'll get some shout-outs here. Then we'll sign off on YouTube and head over to Rumble. Baybar says no. Yuan says no. Let's see here. We got... Hang on here. My chat's messing up on me. Kevin Durant to the Raptors. Caboclo says yes. Yuan says yes. SM says yes. We got EJ saying yes. JJ saying yes as well. So appreciate everybody for joining us here on YouTube and on Rumble. So here's the deal. We're going to go live exclusively on Rumble. So I'm going to give you guys, how about 2 minutes? I'll give you guys 2 minutes to get over there. Then we're signing off on YouTube. Timer starts now, 3 seconds in. In 2 minutes, we are going to sign off on YouTube and stay live on Rumble. What we're going to be talking about over on Rumble is Kevin Durant, potential destinations if he were to demand a trade from the Brooklyn Nets. So we're peppering the live chat with the link. Join us right there. That's the link to the active live show over on Rumble. And everybody who gets over to Rumble will get to stick around with our bonus segment. Already got 16 people over there. So join us over there. And then we will talk more about Kevin Durant and his future or lack thereof with the Brooklyn Nets. So join us on Rumble and continue to answer this question. Should Kevin Durant demand a trade? Y for yes and for no. 50 seconds in, so in just over a minute, we're signing off on YouTube. Click that link in the live chat. Join us over there if you want to be a part of the conversation as we continue for the next 10 or 15 minutes. So get over there. Y for yes and for no. Should Kevin Durant demand a trade? Buko says P. I don't know what that means. Isaiah says yes. Let's see. I don't know what that joke is. DDJ, whatever. Falcon says yes. Dustin says yes. 75% say yes on our live poll. We got 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Then we're going live only on Rumble, or staying live only on Rumble, I should say. Baybar says no. We got 43 people watching over on Rumble, 50 people now. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. We'll also be live on Rumble during NBA free agency, so that is a bonus as well. Caboclo says yes. Acre says yes to Portland. Maybe that's the team we talk about over on Rumble. 10 seconds, so then we're signing off on YouTube, and we'll be live exclusively on Rumble for the next 10 or 15 minutes. All right, there you go. Time is up. We're going to sign off on YouTube. Appreciate everybody for joining us. Link is in the live chat if you want to join us on Rumble. Signing off, Harrison Graham here